Welcome to our Thursday night live stream.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we're two crazy ketos. I don't know what to do. It has been a day, and I have this one hair that's like, no, I'm not going where you want. You're not the boss of me.
It has been a day.
It's been a day. It's been a month in one day, it feels like.
So it started off with me. We are building a ginormous chicken coop.
Yes.
That is divided into 3 sections. This chicken coop is 26 feet long.
We're building a kids ministry for
by 10
poultry.
feet deep.
Yes.
So pretty much almost double the space of our new studio. So if that gives you an idea.
We got a studio.
So I needed to get up and go get some lumber. So we're dividing this into 3 sections. One for our chickens, which is 40% of it.
Right.
Then another section for our turkeys, and then a small section for a brooder for babies so that we can stop brooding babies in our house.
Because that's not normal.
So I got up at 5:30 this morning to go to Home Depot to have people passing me doing over 90 miles an hour in a 1 lane in each direction road with not one street light.
Move
it
on,
kind of
Margaret.
freaks you out.
Move on.
We had a guy coming today to run new fence so that our turkeys will stop going walkabout. And he was repairing a bunch of fence.
So pretty.
Everything was going well. He's doing an amazing job. And we asked him can you fix this one? Because it was barbed wire, but I wanted a field fence so that we can separate everything more. So he pulled out one of the old posts and then used his auger to put a new post in the same exact spot.
Maybe a little deeper.
Well, turns out the old owner of our house,
brilliant person that he was,
son,
yes,
was a fence builder.
Yes.
Idiotically put the post directly on top of the water line that runs from our well to the house, as well as the electric that runs from our panel to the well.
Yes.
Because what he did was when he hit the pipe, he just stopped digging, which is why that post was always loose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our fence builder had no idea, why would I even assume there's electric directly below a post that's already there?
Who would do such a thing?
So the auger went through our water pipe and ripped out all of the electric wire, pulling it from the panel all the way through the underground conduit.
Good morning.
So we had no water,
in
the house. And I'm like, what are we going to do? John Paul has no time to come over here. And this is a 170-foot run from our panel to our well pump. And it needed 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wires run through 2 different conduits.
So, we fixed it. Praise God. To God be the glory. Yeah. Every planet had to align today in order for us to get water back, because without the electric, the pump will not work.
You can't run the pump. And I was like, well, okay, well, at least there's a little bit of water in the well tank. No, because the auger hit the water line, right, which drained out the pressure tank.
So I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to have to get a really long straw and begin, starting one of those sucks, because I have a lot of animals that require water, and I'm going to have to fill all of their water stuff out of the pond is what I'm thinking. I'm picturing
Fortunately, we keep the tank and the RV filled, but that's only 40 gallons, and it wasn't full all the way.
So now we went into full RV Unplugged season 2 mode, where Joe literally was like, if you have to poop today, try to pee on it after.
Yeah.
Really? Really? But yeah, I mean, that's what happens is you go into survival mode.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome to our Thursday live stream. If you're new here, our Thursday live streams are all about hanging out with community and answering questions about keto and carnivore.
We got a super chat, dude.
So if you have a question, type question down below in the comment box or use the super chat function like Shell did.
Hey, Shell.
Which is the little $sign that is down below in the window. And then that benefits our channel, but more importantly, it highlights our screen like Shell's comment did. So Shell, thank you for the $5 super chat. Said, am I crazy? I swear I'm always cold before carnivore. Now I'm always warm. Any thoughts or science behind this? It's called meat sweats.
It is a thing.
It's actually a good thing. It's your metabolism speeding up.
Yeah, that's kind of exciting that like stuff is happening, right? It's not that you're just blowing your top over something
Speaking
stressful.
of which, it is freezing here.
It's the desert.
It is so weird. Like during the day, it's in the 90s.
When
I know
people are dealing with major snowstorms.
Well, it was in the 90s.
Okay.
And so I get my uniform on. I run over to Bradenton, which, wow, I thought New York City and Miami traffic was bad. But Tampa and Bradenton, it's ridiculous. Run over to Bradenton to do my game, and I get out of the car, and I thought it was odd. I passed the bank, and the bank had a temperature sign, and it said 55 degrees.
And you're like, that's not
right. And I'm
right.
like, that thing's got to be broken, because I just left 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And no, I got out of the car, and the wind is blowing, and I was shivering my entire game.
I think we moved to the desert, because during the day, it can be 90, 95 degrees, and at night, it's like 55. Like, once the sun goes down, it's 55. That's very odd.
It is very odd. Okay, so let's pull up the chat. Again, if you have a question, type question, and then whatever your question is, we try to answer as many as possible, but if you don't want us to miss it, use the super chat function down below. If you do want to support us, consider buying us a cup of coffee with that link down there. Lots of people saying happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Liz
Shauna is here.
Hey, Shauna.
She hasn't been here in a little while.
Hi, Liz. Hi, Tammy.
Andy's here, said editing my video for tomorrow, but the notification is dividing my time because I know my priorities.
I love it. I'm glad we're a priority. Thank you.
Chris said Joe is officially an old man complaining about them whippersnapper.
So true.
Listen, I'm not speeding. That's the thing. Like I
am also being an idiot.
I'm driving 65, 70 miles an hour. I mean, the speed limit is 65 on that road, but people literally pass you doing 90.
Are you upset that somebody may be out idioting you?
Well, I'm driving like the flow of traffic, but when you get somebody who wants to pass like 8 cars in a row, including 2 semis, usually I don't get it. Oh, and by the way, there's a lot of deer.
Usually the advice is go against the flow, but I'm going to say don't go against the flow.
What's going to happen if you hit a deer doing 90 miles an hour in a modern day car?
Ugh. I don't know. The car falls apart, the deer walks away.
I don't know. So
fiberglass.
Paul is here doing all right. Are you guys recovering from the flu?
Yes. Thank you so much.
I didn't get sick.
Thank the Lord he did not get sick. And mine got better. I'm feeling so much better. And every single time I have eaten the rest of this week, I have just rejoiced that I've not thrown up. It's funny. I told the gentleman today that was helping to repair the electric that you do not appreciate water or electric until it goes out. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, this is terrible. I really love having electric and water. And it's the same thing with not throwing up.
Yeah.
If you are consistently not having the flu and then you have the flu and you throw up, then you're like, I wish I could go back to that time when I did not throw up every time I ate.
Juliana said the fence guy should be fitting the bill if you dig without checking first. Normally, I would agree. But we're in the country, and there really are no buried lines here. Like, our electric, everything is up in the air. Telephone lines, everything is in the air. It's not like Fort Lauderdale where everything is buried. But I can understand why he was like, he knew where the meter was, and he knew where the pump was. The shortest, learn this in what? 5th grade, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
This thing
Well,
must be
the meter is here.
right.
The pump is here, but where they ran the pipe is like this.
Yeah.
And so, and again, he put it in the same place of where the old pole was. But we did make it. So we kind of agreed that I would supply the wire and he would cover the labor of the electrician to fix it because we couldn't get John Paul out here. And the only reason I did that was because if you buy the wire by the foot, it's going to cost them like $1 a foot. But I need that wire anyway because I need to run wire to the new studio. I need to run wire to our storage facility shed, even though everything is going to be going solar soon. And then the next thing is we're going to build another shed for like making sausage and meat processing, because to get your poultry license to legally sell butchered chickens in the state of Florida, it has to be done in an enclosed building with a 3-basin sink. So we're going to just build another building. It cannot be in your house and it cannot be outside. And so it's very simple to get, but you have to there's a couple of things you have to have. So that I can use all the wire. And if I buy 500-foot rolls, it drops to 20 cents a foot. So I would never need 500 feet. So for me, it was like, buy 500-foot rolls. I'm going to need it in like the next week or so anyway. And I will give him the 170 feet that he needs to run for over that. So in the end, it probably didn't cost me anything, but I was like, it's not, I understand. Things happen.
Everybody makes
mistakes. But it
mistakes.
was just like, now is not the time for this to happen.
And isn't that always when...
It's like, I have to leave for a game.
Isn't that always when something happens? That's why when it comes to keto, we always admonish preparedness. Meal prep to some extent. Have something in the freezer, have something in the pantry, have a list of go-to things that you will reach for like in a pinch. Have Keto Chow. Today was Keto Brick. I had the latest one. What is that one called? It's so delicious. The fudge one. The Keto Brick that they just came out with the beef tallow. I can't remember the name of it. Primal Fudge, is that it? Primal? Yeah. It is so freaking good. And so that was lunch, because lunch was running back and forth. Yeah, right?
Because
I'd go to Home Depot.
Ace Hardware, and then we have a Ranch Supply, and I called them both for the wire, and they're like, we don't have all 4 colors. One of them didn't have any of them in 500-foot rolls. The other one only had 2 of the colors. And I'm like, I have to leave for my game in an hour and a half. So we're going to have to go to Home Depot, which is 35 minutes in each direction. So I had to send Rachel to pick that wire up.
And this is one of those, I really like Keto Brick too, because here's the thing. When I am stressed, and this was like a major thing, like we have no idea, like, are we getting water again? Like, am I showering in the pond for the next week? Like, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. And I was hungry when it happened. So I was like, I don't know what to do. And when I am stressed out, I tend to want something sweet. I do. And so thankfully, Keto Brick was to the rescue today, because it hit all of the right notes. It tasted delicious. And I got something that, excuse me, I got something that wasn't undermining.
Right.
In a time when I could have gone off the rails, y'all.
Okay, Mary's got a good question. I was keto. I just started carnivore. Stools are very loose. No gallbladder. Digestive enzymes are not helping. When will this stop? Your body will adapt. What I would do, because you're eating carnivore, you're probably eating more fat than before, and you've changed. Anytime you change up your diet,
your body,
your gut kind of goes into a little bit of haywire. I would maybe spread out your fat and spread out your meals a little bit instead of eating big meals. Maybe eat a couple of smaller meals and start that way.
Definitely, I would say have an eating window. Sometimes if, people are used to practicing like, hey, I only eat 2 times a day, but you are drastically changing some things. And without a gallbladder, I'm going to completely echo what Joe is saying and say, hey, instead of maybe only committing to 2 meals a day, you do something like an eating window. This is the block of time Like I usually, if you're looking for a good eating window, it is daylight. Daylight provides an eating window. So sun up to when the sun goes down, we're done eating for the day. But you have that much time to get your nutrition in.
Yeah. John said, yeah, anything over the speed limit of 15 is ludicrous speed and Smokey's going to get you sooner or later.
Right.
Well, for some weird reason, we live in an alternate universe. And so
Doctor
they
Strange.
are actually looking to enforce not speeding in DeSoto County. Instead of enforcing speeding, they want to enforce not driving the speed limit. Like if you're less than 5 miles under the if you're more than 5 miles under the speed limit, you are the cause of more of the accidents over the person who is doing 90 and passing you on a 1-lane road.
Are we in?
That is a major thoroughfare for all the 18-wheelers to go, because 70 goes from one side of the state to the other, and it is the only main road in the middle of the state that goes from one side of the to the other until you get up to Orlando where you have I-4.
I feel like we're living in the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah. Where's Roscoe?
Pete Coltrane. Is that what his name was?
Yes. We had a cat named after him.
We did have a cat named Roscoe. Actually, my Tesla is named Roscoe.
Juliana said, I'm shocked I didn't get sick when my patient zero coughed in my eye last week. I was in the room today and going back tomorrow. Teacher is out sick.
Oh, I am so sorry that like you got coughed right in the eye. Yeah, I mean, kids ministry was like that too. I don't remember going home on a Sunday where I did not have something weird on me. Like somebody just like peed right on my leg, coughed right in my face. Like I would come home sometimes and there would be a booger on my collar of my shirt, but it was not my booger.
Ew.
Yeah. It's a lot. That's a lot.
A lot of people talk about how cold it is where they are. Trish said, I had to clean a bunch of ink pens for calligraphy class tomorrow.
Yay.
I discovered they don't like to travel by plane.
Really? Do they have like a, do they like have an explosion or something? I have found, I wonder if this is a thing. Like I have found that like, you know, I pack a backpack. My favorite, my Ravenclaw backpack goes with me everywhere. And it looks pretty battle damaged too. But I always travel with like my favorite pens. And I have noticed that after a flight, my pen doesn't work the same. What's going on there? What's the science of that? I'm going to have to look into it.
Sarah said, I also want sweet when I'm stressed out. I love having healthy, safe keto options.
It's very good. Keto Chow is like that too.
Yep.
You know, but for me, I needed something. We did not have anything made. Like we didn't have a Keto Chow made, like, which is weird because you've been having always a Keto Chow made.
Yeah.
But then, so I just grabbed the Keto Brick and I was just like happy.
Later, Francis said, I want to try the Primal Fudge, but it is so competitive to get some. I'm sure they're going to make more.
Hey, Lynette.
John said, I finished my taxes. I got a big fat 0, just like I got in sophomore history class.
Well,
I will be filing for an extension again.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're lucky they're done. That was good. Not lucky. You did the hard work and you have the success as a result of it. Congratulations on that.
Trish said we put shaved keto brick on top of our creamies.
Ooh,
that sounds good.
That sounds really good. Actually, that Primal Fudge, the ones with the beef tallow would work really well with that.
Yeah.
Because there's such a creaminess. That beef tallow is different. It's a game changer. I'm sorry, I don't think I can go back. They had an announcement that if you like the coconut, I think it is the coconut one that they have, it's like limited.
Yeah.
So if you want one, get it now before they run out. But I don't know that I can go back after beef tallow.
No.
I just love it.
Trish said, I think of the Primal Fudge bricks as a liver supplement, so no guilt here.
Yeah, exactly.
John said, yes. Opt here when we have minimum speed posted and with the speed limit.
The ink cartridges leaked all over the pins.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
No, I was looking at this.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
I'm talking to myself, sorry. Juliana said, I love my little broke besties, but goodness gracious, keep your super sick kiddos home.
Yeah, there was some times where we would catch parents like clearly sneaking in their child with something horrific into service. And I'm like, I love you, but we do not, like, this looks like conjunctivitis or, pink eye. Like, don't you put that on me. What was that, Michael Clark Duncan in Talladega Nights, where he's like yelling at Ricky Bobby, don't you put that on me. And I think that it's like, don't you dare introduce that to me.
Paul said, I love the beef tallow bricks a bit more than the cacao butter ones, but not by a lot.
But enough. I really like them a lot. I don't know. It's just, everybody has a mouthfeel that really appeals to them, whether it's like, crunchy, it's smooth, and they just hit it. Another thing that I really like is when we super drain like Greek yogurt, and it's that consistency,
like cream cheese.
Yeah, and cream cheese, another one. That's my people right there. That consistency is my favorite consistency.
We still have some jalapenos left.
I know I need to turn them into poppers for you. I was actually going.
I got my new grill, but I didn't get to assemble it today because we were.
I was going
fixing wire
to make you those poppers because we do have jalapenos left over. But
we
had
don't have
no
cream cheese.
No, I found some cream cheese. We didn't have water, and I'm sorry, but like, it is taking your life in your hand if you try to like do it and not be able to rinse your hands off, right?
Yeah, somebody the other day was like, I don't know how to make jalapeno poppers. I'm like, super easy. Just scoop out the seeds, fill them with cream cheese, a lot of cream cheese, wrap them in bacon, but make sure you don't touch your eyes after you're doing that. I have done that.
Yeah.
Juliana said pressure in the cabin messes with the flow of ink in a cartridge.
Hey, JJ.
Liz said, don't bring your poop eyeballs in here.
Do not bring your poop eyeballs in here. Like, I mean, I don't want to boot anybody out of church, but it's like, you're getting booted. Like, I'm sorry. I love you. I will see you later. Bye. See ya. Same thing with school. It's like, I want you to not miss out on this lesson. Like, I don't want you to get behind. Right. If there's a test that you need to take, I want you to be able to take it. Maybe you've been studying for a long time and like, you just want to get past this time. I get it, but not today. Not here. We're not having it. No, thank you.
So Paul said, I've been putting off making poppers. I need to get off my duff and throw them together.
John says, does the Keto Brick still get stuck in your teeth?
Not the new tallow ones. I mean, I didn't really have a problem with that with the old one, except for the original, like, mocha one, because it had cacao like nibs in it, so I never really had that problem, but the tallow ones, no, they almost like melt in your mouth.
The primal fudge ones in particular, the ones that are the cake pop ones, maybe a little bit, but I'll tell you what I really enjoy a Keto Brick is with a hot cup of coffee. A hot cup of black coffee and the Keto Brick. Today I did not have that because it was just fly down the road with it. So it was a bottle of water and a Keto Brick. But that's my favorite.
So I just saw a comment from Trish, but now I feel really bad because I have been messaging back and forth with my son all day, and you know what I completely forgot?
What?
Today is our oldest son's anniversary.
I wished them both.
I forgot.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to John Paul and Michelle. So at 4 years now.
Sent a picture of.
How do we have a child that's been married for 4 years?
I know. That seems impossible. I sent him a picture of baby Jenny because now Jenny is the big sister, our grandpuppy Jenny, who is a Gordon setter. Really a great dog.
They have graduated from grandparent to a puppy. We are not a grand pup.
Well, I still acknowledge. Okay. I have two I have three grandpuppies now.
We passed that when we got a grandbaby.
Well, Anthony and Sarah have a dog, and not a child.
Well, that's your grandpuppy.
And that grandpuppy is probably older than me.
I'm just going by the card that you have now graduated. Like you're no longer.
You're not going back. I'm fine to move up and down the ladder.
Oh, okay.
So apparently for Joe, it's no going back. But they did get another Gordon setter puppy named Luna. Obviously, big Harry Potter fan. So Jenny is one, and then Luna is the other, and she's as cute as she can be.
So Trish has a non-scale victory. Yay! I didn't need a seatbelt extender on the plane for the first time in decades.
That is awesome.
Freaking
awesome. absolutely awesome. And it's just, oh my goodness, it just, the peace, right? Just the relaxing. The whole, like I can imagine the beautiful smile across Trisha's face as you just like rest. We had that experience. I'm going to tell you, it is a magical thing. It is a magical thing. I don't think we celebrated enough. Another seatbelt extender experience that we were able to stop utilizing was on rides.
Yeah.
I remember the first time that both of us didn't have, like, we were able to sit together because in the past we both needed a seat
The
extender.
special seat.
We needed the special seat. So a lot of times the
Row
rows,
1, seat 3, and Hulk on the Hulk ride.
so we would have to not go together on rides because they didn't have it together and we both needed it. So the fact that we don't need it on rides, that's like so awesome.
Paul said, brother John said, do you remember the chickenpox parties? One kid gets it, all the mom's friends set up play dates to get their kids infected. Gen X's parents were not the same as
I
parents.
was tossed into one of those parties once. And I did get the chickenpox. In fact, I still have like a thing on my arm from like getting it.
Sean said, wash your hands before going to the bathroom after making jalapeno poppers as well.
You are so right. Yes. These are just nuggets of wisdom.
Very important pieces of information.
You know, people are like, what do you do to get started on keto?
Wash your hands after you make jalapeno poppers.
And I feel like this needs to go in the brochure.
Yeah.
This absolutely
Don't pick your nose either.
Do not pick your nose or your friend's nose.
MB Davis said, I have your Keto Chow cheesecake in my oven, but made it with salted caramel instead of chocolate toffee. I've made it twice before, and my non-keto family really likes it.
Thank you for sharing that. That is so encouraging. I could really go for that right now. And salted caramel is like a good flavor for it.
Juliana said, in the summer when my garden is bumping, pepper babies are 1 inch tall right now. I have a designated plastic cutting board and wear gloves. No regrets.
Trish said thanks. Makes me want to walk around saying, look at my butt. Look at my butt. I have seen Trish's butt. It is a gorgeous butt. Bob is the lucky one that gets to see her butt on the regular. But yes, you're right. It's like, you want to be like, why is not everybody celebrating this? Like, this is such an exciting day. You do not understand. Like, I feel that it's just like, yes.
And JJ said, don't rub your eyes either. Made that mistake today making pumpkin sausage soup.
Oh.
I did that once. It was so bad.
Pumpkin sausage soup. I love that stuff. I could eat a vat of that stuff. We don't argue a lot, but Joe and I really got into a humdinger one time over who got more of that sausage pumpkin soup. Yeah. Remember that?
Yep.
It was like we started double batching it after that to save the marriage. How can one food, like how can one recipe make it so that you're going to fight like that?
Okay, so Trish said, step 1, start keto, buy all the bacon. Step 2, then all the pork belly.
Yes. My neighbor came to the house when I got chickenpox. Yep.
Yep. That was the thing. John said everyone has at least one scar from chickenpox, usually on their forehead or the bridge of their nose.
Liz took her kids to a pox party. Yeah. It was like just toss them in the ring. I kind of vaguely remember thinking that the situation was odd because it was like, friend of friends, you know how like you hang out with, you have this like closer knit circle of friends, and then you have like this acquaintance circle, and like it continues to like ring out, and I guess our closer ring of friends, my mom's closer ring of friends, their kids had either already gotten the chickenpox or didn't have it at that time, and so she needed to go to another ring, and so we had to go to somebody's house that like we didn't hang out with all the time.
Sabrina said, my son sent me a text today. He's lost 17 pounds since January 1st, down to 215. Wow. Weight that he hasn't seen since he was 23, and he will be 40 in April.
Oh my goodness, Sabrina. What a victory. I know that this has been on your heart for a long time for him to like get plugged in, and here you go. Do not give up. The message here is do not give up. Like if you have friends, you have family members who you're wanting them to get healthy. Of course, we want the whole world. We want to change the world one ribeye at a time. But if you ask me, who do I want to become keto first? I'm going to tell you a kid that I love, right? I'm going to tell you a family member first, but don't let that discourage you, because right now there is somebody that you can mentor. There is somebody that you can share keto with. There is a coworker, there is a neighbor, there is somebody in your realm of influence right now that is ready right now. Yeah. So my thought is, don't wait. Like, bless somebody else's kids while you're waiting for your kids to go keto. I love that, because that's definitely something that Sabrina has done.
Barb said, if I don't have any gloves when I make jalapeno poppers, I use a quart zip top bag and a grapefruit. I've just got to the point where I don't wear gloves, but I just be very careful. Because the thing is, by the way, if you don't wear gloves, just washing your hands with soap and water does not usually wash off the jalapeno juice.
I just got
That's why you should wear gloves.
Jealous of JJ's marriage, because his wife doesn't like it.
Pumpkin sausage.
That is the sweet spot of the relationship, is if you can find things where it is like your favorite thing, and your partner in life is just doesn't like it. So where did I luck out in life? Seafood. I never have to share seafood with Joe. They're sampling it we did have like a really beautiful moment recently at Costco. We just hit like the lottery day where at Costco, most of the things they were sampling we could eat. Like that never happens. Right. But
cheese.
So there was cheese, and I was completely fine to just pass it to Joe.
And then go back for more.
And then go back for more, give it to him. So he's getting his share, he's getting my share. We're going back. Oh, like, you always have to kind of formulate this kind of like,
you can have as many samples as you want, but you still feel guilty doing it,
I feel absolutely guilty doing it. I don't know if you guys don't. Okay, so let me know what's your stance on this. But if somebody is sampling something, I have to actually work up a face that kind of suggests that I'm doing further research on this item. Like, I am not. I am just trying to steal another sample, and also one for my husband. But I'm like, it's like, I almost should carry in my purse like a Sherlock Holmes cap, a pipe, because I'm trying to give off the vibe that like,
maybe
like
I'm going to buy it. I mean, I'm not, but
one more taste might convince me. And so it was cheese for you, but then they were sampling like salmon. And I was like, I don't have to share this. He is totally going to go through the drive-through twice for me as well.
Juliana said getting chickenpox naturally is better in your senior years, exponentially less likely to get the shingles.
Yeah, I can remember we were told to avoid a whole bunch of old people we knew at the time we got it.
Chris said a university town near us had kids doing COVID parties in 2020 because the local plasma donation place paid extra for plasma with antibodies.
How interesting.
John said we finally made the pumpkin sausage soup tonight for the first time. Eating it now with a steak. It's amazing.
It's so amazing. So if you're wondering what is this stuff that we're talking about, it's the Keto Chow recipe. I believe it's on the Keto Chow website, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Juliana said I was wrong with that. It's better to get the pox than the vaccination. Many, many years later in regards to your risk of shingles.
Oh, okay.
Trish said I was the youngest of 5 kids. I had every childhood disease before I hit 1 year old.
Right. Oh my gosh. You had no choice. You were, what was it? It was like the Christmas Story where it was like, there was nothing he could do. He had no recourse in this. That's, poor
Liz
Trish.
said, do not give up.
Do not give up. No.
Matt said the message is consistency, and I'm still being consistent, right?
I am so proud of you, Matt. This one's for you. Balls.
Dustin said, Caleb's carnivore quest is 16 and making content and losing doing carnivore.
That is awesome. Isn't that, I mean, don't you get excited thinking about, like, we were just celebrating. I really couldn't believe it that we have had the Two Crazy Ketos channel. This family is 7 years old, guys. Like, that is amazing to me. To God be the glory. That is such an amazing thing. So
maybe it's 8 years old. We had this discussion.
Okay.
2018.
Okay. All right. But what I was going to say is like, it is amazing to see now you're starting to see a new generation come into this space.
Yeah.
You know, that were like, kids, young people coming to hear about it. And now they're old enough to buy their own food. They're old enough to like be trusted in the kitchen to cook it and be at the barbecue grill, that sort of thing. So I think it's so exciting.
Donna said ER visit, then to a plastic surgeon to redo the mess that the ER did. At least 26 stitches from ER, but probably more with facial surgeon. Can't believe hospital didn't call in a plastic surgeon.
Yeah, so Donna Joe's precious daughter had like passed out last night and like hit her head and had a terrible like just an absolute awful cut, and then like stood back up and hit the back of her head as well. Poor thing. And so when she went to the hospital, she got stitches, but they did them really like not great. And it's like it's on your face. I remember
horrible.
when Caleb was attacked by our dog when he was a little kid, and his entire lip was completely torn in half. Remind you of one of those kids that have, like surgery for cleft palate. That's exactly how he looked. It was from his nose down to there. And we were really thankful that the doctor said, I am not going to try to stitch this on my own. We have to have a plastic surgeon for this because of it being such a sensitive area, on your face. And I thought the same thing. So I'm really glad that you were able to get to a plastic surgeon, Donna.
So Chris said I typically don't eat samples at the grocery store unless it's plain cheese. But that's the thing, at the Costco, it was pretty much, they had like 5 different just cheese ones to sample.
They did cheese, but then they did like Archer's meat snacks that we buy on the regular. And then they had salmon, but it was like they were just sampling like a Costco salmon. We picked it up. It was just salmon.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. It was like, hey, do you want to taste what beef tastes like? It wasn't even trying to sell me something that was seasoned weird. So it was seriously a great day.
Kat wanted to know, is the pumpkin soup spicy? It depends on if you leave the seeds in the jalapeno.
Yeah.
Like, I will leave see, jalapenos actually aren't very spicy so long as you're all the spice in the seeds. Like, I love jalapeno because they bring a lot of flavor.
Poblano too.
But if you pull out all of the seeds, it's not super spicy, but you could leave the jalapenos out. Dustin said it's kind of nice at Costco when they have a sample of an off-plan food that I've always wanted to try where I can have a bite and not break.
Oh, okay.
I saw something. John said, playing with jalapenos is dangerous. My dad's cousin was making hot sauce and made the huge mistake of putting them in the blender where they were still hot, filled the house with a fire fog.
One time, I want to say we had bought them at Walmart. So it wasn't like I even felt like we got some sort of a specialty,
Those were hot. I remember those.
I remember when Joe was cutting them. They were not cooked. They were cut. Caleb was like in his bedroom. I was there back there too. And we were like just chatting and we like ran out of the room coughing. Like it just absolutely permeated the entire house.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad.
Evelyn said my mom made play dates with the kids that had chickenpox so that we could get it and get it over with.
Get it over with.
Dustin said it's crazy. I've been following you guys since pretty early on.
Thank
it feels
you.
like both are very short and like we've known each other forever.
I love you, Dustin.
John said I made the 2KK yogurt. No nut milk bags required.
Nut milk bag. I miss saying nut milk bag, but once you have gone to a yogurt strainer, there ain't no going back, is there? Because it just works so great. Now, I am the person, I'm very much like Chris Bear. I'll let that sucker go like 2 days of just nothing but draining. Wow. Because I like it being super, like really Greek yogurt consistency, almost cream cheese.
Chris said, so Keto Chow shipped out its first order January of 2015. We only sent out 182 orders that entire month.
Wow.
Our shipping team just shipped out our 1 millionth order to Brian W. on February 18th. 10 years and 1 month after our first order.
How beautiful.
That is so awesome. And again,
congratulations.
If you want to get some Keto Chow, there is a discount link down below. Anytime you use that link, you're going to get 10% off your order on anything that's not in a subscription.
Wow.
Lady Frizzler said an old friend chopped jalapenos and then later became enamorous with his partner. There were some shocking sensations not appreciated by her.
You got that right. Thank you, Lord. We've never had that happen, Joe.
No, thank you.
Oh my gosh. You'd be afraid. Like, I would say the next time, like the next 5 times, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna check you. I'm gonna check you. Like, I need you to like go shower like 4 more times. I'm gonna have to be sure. And it won't matter if we have not had jalapeno poppers since that last time. But like, we could never risk it again. You could never risk it again.
Easy Peasy Keto said,
Hey,
making
Stacey.
our dehydrated pepper powder can get really strong, but it is so good.
It is so good. Like, I like the vegetable blend that you guys do where you've like dehydrated the vegetables and it goes into a powder. It provides such a nice seasoning for food. We enjoy making our own seasonings as much as, finding other ways to flavor food. Like, we like uncovering new sauces, but sometimes the right seasonings just make all of the difference. And that dehydrator really helps, you know?
I miss our dehydrator.
I do too. I can't wait till it's back.
John said, my yogurt strainer has a lid. I leave it in the fridge and it does get as thick as cream cheese.
Keto Brains is here. Good to see you.
Let's see. Chris put up the link. Donna just said my yogurt was supposed to come out of the strainer today, but I guess it'll be strained for 3 days.
I am not upset about that.
We just a lot of times leave it completely in the strain.
It's delicious.
In the strainers.
And it provides a really nice base for other things. First of all, it can completely replace sour cream. It is a great base for most any dressing, like blue cheese dressing. If you have not made Joe's blue cheese dressing, you're missing out. It is really, really good.
I just realized I think there's a package from Keto Brains in the car.
Yay! Oh, that's mommy's. That's mommy's order. It's in the truck. Because
I think it's in the truck.
So,
I just saw a box from Keto Brains.
So my mom is in between, homes as well. And so she realized that she had Keto Brains in Coconut Creek. She has Keto Brains in Winter Haven. She did not have Keto Brains in Arcadia. And she like completely panicked because my mom is like me. We do not start the day without our first Keto Brains in our first morning cup of coffee. And so she's like, I need it there. And so it got delivered, but she had already moved on.
You snooze, you lose.
So,
mine now.
So Sarah G, actually, we were going to the auction last week and she just swung by mom's house, picked it up off of her front porch and like brought it to me. And so I said, okay, well, I'll see you, Mom, because I'm thinking she wants me to bring it to her. And
she forgot about it. Just open it up and eat it.
She said, no, that is the designated Keto Brains for...
I'm sure she forgot about it.
Arcadia.
I think we should open it up. And just...
she didn't forget it. Uh-huh. She seriously called like 1,000,000 times.
John said ranch, blue cheese, maybe Caesar. Blue cheese is better.
Oh, I do like Caesar also. I like
Chris said Rachel is secretly ordering stuff.
Joe is secretly ordering stuff. We got a new heat warmer today.
So Chris said, question, on the tour of the house you mentioned Caleb's room is going to be the last to get worked on. Is he living in a van?
He is.
So Caleb is staying currently at Rachel's mom's old house in Coconut Creek while we're waiting for that to get sold. So this way it's kind of occupied. Somebody's taking care of the house. I think that's where his job is. So.
He's loving it. My mom made friends there's a couple of seniors that live like on her block and they're friends. And so I think it's kind of revitalized their little nook there because now they get to, instead of talking to mom in the morning, they're talking to Caleb on his way to work. And so then they'll message mom and say like how cute her grandson is because, suddenly you have a 23-year-old that's living across the street from you.
Lynn said, I have a steamer that has holes only on the bottom. A coffee filter fits in the bottom perfectly. I leave it for one full day. Christine said, sipping on my first batch of homemade bone broth. Yum. Easy peasy in the Ninja pressure cooker.
You're never going back, right? Because once you can make it for yourself, like, I don't care if you buy it from Kettle and Fire. I don't care if you're getting whole food brand. If you make it yourself, your own bone broth, like you're never going back. It is so rich. It is so delicious. Nothing captures it. I also highly recommend like, okay, we need to do this. We need to get out the pressure cooker. One of my other favorite things is when we're done with chicken wings or chicken in general, throw all the bones back in, like, make the bone broth, but then take the bones and then I eat the bones because the bones become like just absolutely pulverized. Talk about like a cool mouthfeel. It is another favorite top 10 of Rachel's.
So Sean
things.
said, I was wondering if Caleb's room was rented out to the new chicks on the block. So Caleb's room is actually home to 10,000 mealworms right now.
Don't tell him. He may never sleep.
The reason that Caleb's room is the last room to be worked on is because the room that's going to be Caleb's room is the room where the old owners decided we're going to have a window AC, but instead of raising the window to put the window AC,
just punch it
we're
out.
just going to remove the glass.
Yeah.
And so there's no window there. So that's why if you see the house, like if you see us from the outside, there is a piece of Wonder Board,
right?
Or Hardy Backer board, which is a concrete board that you would put on a wall or on the floor in a shower before you tile it. That is currently covering the window along with a piece of plexiglass because nothing completely covers the hole. And so I want to in order to fix that, I need to take off the siding of the house because the siding of the house is vinyl siding. But we're going to take that off and not put that back up. We're actually going to put a Hardy Backer T111 around the entire. So we're going to change all the windows.
Terminator?
We're going to put that. It's T111 is the design that you see on your shed.
It is not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So that is, but we're not going to use wood. We're going to use a cement board around the entire house, and then we are going to paint the house to match the shed. So eventually all the buildings will be that bluish color. So in order to change the windows, I got to take all the siding off. So we want to get the inside done before we do that. So I don't want to go in Caleb's room and put insulation and sheetrock up when there's no window.
I wonder what the bad guy from Terminator 2 is doing right now.
I don't know, but all I know is that every movie you ever see him in, the only thing you ever remember him for is that's the bad guy from Terminator 2.
He has been in so many movies,
but he's only known as the bad guy from Terminator 2.
At least for me, and he has a name, and he should not be recognized as the bad guy from Terminator 2. He should have more respect than that. But like every single time I see him in a movie, to this day, I say, that's the bad guy from Terminator 2. And also I think to myself, I've seen his butt. I've seen him naked.
Nice.
I have.
Chris said, we have the shaved ice maker for our KitchenAid mixer. I'm making shaved ice right now. That's awesome. Justin said, I know you've switched to the newer Nespresso pod size. We need to get a new Nespresso machine with the old size pods. Don't know which one to buy. Any suggestions? We're thinking the Ninja one. I don't know anything about the old model. What is that? So this is the Venturi. I don't know what it's called. I know that you could buy the pods for them actually in like Costco and stuff, but you can't buy the ones for ours. But I don't know anything about those machines.
Lately,
we've actually been brewing coffee because we have something really cool coming out soon.
We do. And the thing
Don't talk about it.
I'm not going to talk about it, but what happened?
Build the anticipation.
What happened though was when we started doing the beef butter bacon and egg challenge, and I could only have one coffee experience a day.
She was making a pot.
I started deciding. Well, and
it's technically 5 cups.
Shut up, Meg. Who let you back in the house? But
I'm going to get that now.
I started thinking that the way that I was going to handle the one coffee experience thing this year was it was going to be super special with really delicious, fresh brewed coffee. You're going to show them.
No, this is not making fun of you at all.
This feels a lot like it.
But a lot of people ask, what is an actual size cup of coffee? Because sometimes people think about, they're like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not having results I want. And we talk about something called carb creep.
Yes.
Like hidden carbs that you're not counting. For people who are counting carbs, hey, I'm only having 10 carbs a day. But when you start looking at things that you don't think that there are carbs in, but there are carbs in, for example, heavy whipping cream, because all heavy whipping cream has 0.413 carbs per tablespoon, right? Spices, there are carbs in all spices. However, when you pick up the bottle or look up online how many carbs are in chili powder, it says 0, but it's not 0. It says 0 because they say a serving size is 1/4 of a teaspoon. I don't know about you all, but when I make chili, my batch of chili has roughly 5 tablespoons of chili powder.
Because I want it to taste good.
And cumin, another one, says 0 for 1/4 of a teaspoon, but a tablespoon has like 4 carbs. So like it can add up. So you have these carbs that, because of rounding, everybody thinks is 0.
Right.
One of them is coffee. And so when somebody goes down, and when a coaching client comes and says like, I'm only having 10 carbs a day, I'm only having 15 carbs a day, I'm only having 20 carbs a day, I'm like, okay, let's go through it. And it comes back at one of the things they're doing is they're drinking 1 or 2 pots of coffee in a day. A cup of coffee has just less than 1 carb per cup. All coffee, okay? Less than 1 carb. But here's the thing. This, which doesn't look big, this I would say is close to the normal cup that many people drink. Like if you go to Starbucks venti size.
Sorry I didn't clean it this morning.
Well, we just made coffee.
Yeah.
And we didn't have water all day.
We didn't.
Okay. But if you go buy a venti size coffee, that's about this. This is technically 5 cups of coffee. So if you're drinking this,
which I am,
you're consuming about 4 to 5 carbs. If you're doing this 2 to 3 times a day, you're consuming, I'm sorry to break this to people, but a lot of people are consuming close to 10 carbs a day in coffee.
Yeah. I'm one of them. I mean,
and it's something to think about. I'm not saying cut out your coffee.
Because I'm not.
But if you're really struggling and you're like, I don't know what's going on, start looking at that. So look at every 6 to 8 ounces is a carb.
Coffee. Also, like drinks as well. Like if someone, drinks
diet soda,
if you drink like, Powerade Zero even, there's a lot of different things where it's just like, it's 1 or 2 carbs per drink, but I'm not just drinking 1 drink in a day, then that's going to creep up. Seasonings is another thing. Sauces is a big one, especially dipping sauces, barbecue sauces, just because it is sugar-free. That is great. That is fantastic. Like that it is sugar-free. However, it does not mean that it is carb-free.
Yeah. So
Robert Patrick
was the T-1000.
But that's not his name, though. His name is the bad guy from Terminator 2. That's on his birth certificate.
Okay, so how about this one? Chris said Robert Patrick has a 172 actor credits.
He's the bad guy from Terminator 2. I mean, that is when he was getting married.
Raj said in the X-Files he is Agent John Doggett.
When he was at his wedding, the priest said, "Do you take the bad guy from Terminator 2 to be your lawfully wedded husband?" That's what they said.
Sean said Robert Patrick, he plays the bad guy in season 2 of Reacher. I love pretty much everything he's in. By the way, I'm so sad because you told me you could not finish watching that episode.
Yes.
I got it. If you have not seen, what is it? Landman?
It is good.
It is really good. Really, really good.
Billy Bob Thornton
is phenomenal in it.
Very good actor in it.
And so we were watching an episode the other night, and
like
Rachel's
a torture
like,
scene.
Billy Bob Thornton was getting tortured.
He's got kidnapped. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. That is the last episode of the season, and the last episode right now.
Oh, so
there's only 1 season.
So you need to finish it. And I
did finish it.
I knew it was,
but I'm like, where's the next? There is no more seasons right now.
I knew it was going to be coming because like the whole season begins with that.
Mm-hmm.
The whole season begins with the fact that he is kidnapped, and so I know a kidnap is coming sometime, and we get through all of the episodes and there is no kidnapping, and then we got to this one. I didn't realize it was the last one. I thought that maybe there'd be more, but it was just like I don't know. I'm not going to be angry about it. You know how people get desensitized to violence? I'm getting resensitized. I don't know. I think I've watched too much Little House in the Prairie and Murder, She Wrote in the last couple of years that I am getting resensitized to violence. And so when I'm seeing him getting tortured, I'm like, I can't handle it anymore. I say that, but I can watch John Wick.
I used to throw my coffee and all the add-ins into a Vitamix, but I don't need to since getting that frother. Now I just have to be careful not to overflow my mug or I get coffee on the ceiling.
Yes. Yep. Oh my gosh. I can't even tell you how many times that I've been like, what is the what is the velocity of the keto brains zoop zoop that I need to maintain?
You just need a big cup.
I know, but sometimes I have a big cup. I already have that.
But you fill the big cup.
But I fill the big cup. And so, yes. And so I'm trying to zoop zoop without making it go poof, poof, like everywhere.
I want the big cup so that I don't do that. But that's why I purposely only, when you give me the regular size cup and I'm like, now I can't zoop zoop because you fill it all the way up. You got to take that much coffee, but
here's my cup, Lord.
Double the cup.
Fill it up,
Barb
Lord.
said we're going out for my birthday dinner tomorrow with friends. I'm going to build my own burger. Maybe I'll have a fried egg with it.
Well, Barb, it's your birthday tomorrow. Let's sing.
Yep.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Barb. Happy birthday to you. And many more. So many more.
Shauna said an actual size cup of coffee is no more than a tease.
That is exactly right. She gets it. You know what an actual size cup of coffee is? Espresso. That's what that is.
Dustin said my coffee's up to 30 ounces, but I just have one.
I just have one.
Trish said, for goodness sake, someone needs to get Joe a t-shirt with the carb count of heavy whipping cream on it.
Actually, Shauna had gotten you one, but I think you destroyed it in a recipe.
It got ruined.
Yes.
Chris said Robert Patrick was also in Die Hard 2, which is not a Christmas movie, although the original is. But Die Hard 2 is set around Christmas. I would say Die Hard 3 is not a Christmas movie. I mean, it's not set. But Die Hard 2 is set at Christmas time. He is going home to see his wife.
Well, they're having a Christmas party.
For Christmas. Or actually, his wife is coming home to him in Die Hard 2.
I know that every single time that I watch it, I think, I am so glad.
If a movie comes out at Christmas time, it is a Christmas movie, especially if there is a Christmas tree in it. Can we just say that?
Okay.
So Harry Potter is a Christmas movie.
It's almost every single every single movie of Harry Potter.
Happy Christmas.
With the exact, except for the last one.
We just started something.
I mean, they even say Happy Christmas to him, in the second to last one, right? But every time I watch Die Hard, I think to myself, I'm really glad that I've never been to a Christmas party that is ended with cut bloody feet and murder.
It's a Christmas movie.
And hijacking, terrorism. I'm always thankful.
Okay, so Christine said, guys, I'm sorry to tell you that straight black coffee has carbs. Yes, that's what we were saying. Yeah. There are carbs in coffee. Yes. Cold brew is worse.
Don't tell Anthony.
Yeah, cold brew is even worse. And espresso is worse.
How did I raise a son that will only drink cold brew? He will not drink hot coffee.
Dustin said that Arnold was the T800, by the way.
They actually, but here's where I feel like I succeeded as a mother. So I feel like they're very selective with how they decorate. They're not like me where it's just so much stuff. But they got a decoration they actually had a plaque made with their Stauffer established recipe for coffee. They had it basically an engraved thing of here is how our coffee, the way we like it, shall be in this house. And they have hung it in the house.
Nice.
I thought that was kind of cool.
So I was laughing because JJ said I was about to say it looks like a Rachel says cup of coffee, and Shauna said I accept every carbon copy,
Yes.
and Trish said Rachel, kick him under the table.
I'm telling you, it is.
And again, this is not. It is not to say don't drink coffee. I mean, believe me, we drink coffee. We are going to have a cup of coffee the second this live stream is over.
Don't tell Joe.
But it's just be aware of it.
Yes.
It's just be aware of it.
It's just like how sometimes, not often, but here feels like a good time to remind Joe that jalapenos
has carbs in it. Every jalapeno has a carb in it.
cheese.
Every ounce of cheese has a carb in it. And believe me, so when you start adding it up, I mean, like, I will absolutely say there are days where I probably have eaten
Joe has eaten this much
carbs
cheese.
in cheese.
This is how much cheese. So I drink this much coffee and he's had this many cubes of cheese.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's
cheese sauce.
That's why we don't store cheese in the house. But
Well,
I can tell
now.
you but it's wrapped. I won't open it. That's the key. Notice, like, all of that wonderful cheese that Debbie sent us, we've only gone through half, because if I don't unwrap it, it will last forever. But if I unwrap it, the whole block is gone within a day. I mean, I opened up one the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to have a little piece.
And it was like, bye.
I ate half of the block. So that's, I think it was an 8-ounce block. So I ate 4 ounces, just like, here's 4 ounces of cheese. When I go on a cruise, oh my gosh, I probably eat 50 carbs a day in cheese.
You guys, this is between you and me. I don't even want to talk to Joe about it. But Gail came to visit last week from Canada, and she brought a cheese basket that I have not let Joe participate in. And yet I opened some cheese because some of the cheeses were like from a monastery.
I know.
Like,
I'm saving it.
You ain't saving it. So there was like, it was like a brie, and I'm not like a brie Anna. I definitely am not usually that person, but I thought I'm going to try it because I don't know, it smelled amazing. And so I took a slice of that yesterday. It buckled my knees. It was that good. It was so flipping good. And speaking of Gail, she had brought us some turkey lunch meat, like inside of Egg Life wraps with lettuce and tomato. And I'm telling you right now, Joe, I am going to get those components tomorrow, because I had like one sandwich of that, basic, an Egg Life wrap, turkey lunch meat, mayonnaise, lettuce, and tomato. And I had not had it in a minute.
So,
and
they were delicious wraps. Thank you so much, Gail. However, I'm on my way out the game, and somebody failed to warn me that, oh, by the way, the Egg Life wraps are wrapped in a paper towel. So I took 2 of these beautiful, delicious Egg Life wrap sandwiches on my way to my game. I ate 90% of one of them, and I'm like, man, why can't I tear these Egg Life wraps? Like, what is wrong? And then I looked down and I'm like, I literally just ate the paper towel. And because I did, and I'm like, oh, there's a paper towel wrapped around it.
Well, and just let's take this opportunity as a PSA that whether or not you realize it, there is more than 4 total carbs in a paper towel. Well, don't just be eating paper towels thinking that there's no carbs in this. There is at least 4 paper towels per square of bounty, at least.
Chris said, interesting test. Now I want to do this tomorrow.
Okay.
Take enough instant coffee to make 5 cups and light it on fire. If it burns, it's probably all carbs with a little fat.
Wow.
I want to do that now.
Let's burn some coffee. That seems like, I don't know.
It's like, you've heard of alcohol abuse? That's coffee abuse.
That's coffee abuse.
Paul said, I drink 8 ounces of coffee just walking away from the counter. That's Rachel.
That's me.
Patty said, how many carbs are in a cup of coffee is actually going to depend on how strong you make it. It's the bean, it's how strong you make it, how you brew it. Like I said, espresso has more carbs than standard coffee. Cold brew has almost twice the carbs. So yeah, there's a lot of variation, but on average, 1 carb per like 8 ounces.
Yeah, John is saying, oh yeah, sugar-free and zero carb are two totally different things. And it is okay to have eyes on one thing at a time.
Yep.
If you're like, hey, I'm trying to kick sugar, don't try to be having eyes on all of the things. Like you're if you need to do things, let's do it one step at a time, right? I think sometimes when you get overwhelmed and you feel like you've been doing really good. I can remember one time, I think it was the first time that Joe brought it to my mom's attention. And she may have said a naughty word because it was like, well, crap.
Yeah.
I thought I was doing everything right now. Like, when she was just getting started.
Our job is to help you.
And so sometimes it's like.
She's the sugar coater. I'm the one that do the right thing.
She was like, well, I just was trying to kind of slay some things, like take one thing out at a time.
Right.
Oh, Sean's watching it.
Shauna, Dustin said, Shauna, do you know that light roast has more caffeine? Yeah, a lot of people think dark roast is more caffeinated, but no, light roast has more caffeine.
They just
and then
hurt us with that.
Let's see. I saw another one. Shauna wants to know, what is decaf?
Yeah. So Donna says, yeah, I actually thought about this because Tulsa King, that is starring Sylvester Stallone, written by the same guy who also wrote, it's Taylor Sheridan, right? Also responsible
He's
for
such a good writer.
Yellowstone.
Taylor Sheridan is like
Shonda Rhimes.
He is the cowboy version of Shonda Rhimes.
Right.
But I like his attention to detail. Like I was telling Rachel the other day, like for example, cowboy hats. There is a lot of etiquette to cowboy hats. Like you take your cowboy hat off when you go inside. You never put it on a bed. You should only ever put it on a counter upside down. Now, the reason you do that is if you put it the right way, it will change shape. So to protect the shape of a cowboy hat, you always put it upside down. But I noticed those little details.
I noticed you've noticed.
He gets it right. And I like details in a movie when a director really goes above and beyond to find the little details that exist. And it's not just him, but you need to see with a lot of people to make sure, like years ago, I watched House.
Right.
And
Love that show.
Even the original, what was it? ER?
Uh-huh.
Where with George Clooney and them. I mean, they literally had physicians and ER doctors on staff to make sure everything was the way it's actually done in an
Instead
ER.
of saying, we're going to have to take his muffler out.
Right.
Like you need actual like language. Yes. I actually have understood that now. Joe is very interested in cowboy hat information. I made the terrible mistake of writing his cowboy hat in a seat, and he
the wrong way.
He literally was like, Rachel,
you're gonna ruin my hat.
Turn my cowboy hat upside down. And I was
it's not a superstition thing. It's gonna ruin the hat.
But I was just like, who are you? Guy from Island Park, New York, that I married.
But I've always liked cowboy hats, and now I've got a function for it. Like, you can't wear a cowboy hat in the city.
I will say that
unless I'm your grandfather.
My grandfather, my maternal.
But your grandfather was from here.
I never knew him not wearing a cowboy hat. He always wore a white summer Stetson.
Yeah.
$23. Still $23.
Yeah.
I can remember when he would be like, well, it's been like, 4 years of this same one. I think when you'd say, what do you want for Christmas? Well, I'd like every single family member to collectively get together to pool for $23 to buy me a new cowboy hat.
I'll let you in on a little secret.
Yes.
I know how much you loved your grandfather, so
yes.
I'm just trying to bring those memories back for you.
That's what it is?
I wear a hat, yeah.
Aww.
So Amy said, question, when you say there are carbs in coffee, you're not talking about black coffee, right? Yes, I'm talking about black
Sadly,
coffee.
yes.
And again, don't freak out. Don't stop drinking coffee. What we're saying is
drinking.
If you're doing everything right and you're like, I don't understand what's going on, one of the questions I'm going to ask you is, how much coffee do you drink? And if you tell me I'm drinking 2 pots a day, then I'm going to say, let's cut back. Let's only change that for a week and see if that makes a change. And sometimes that is.
I'm going to be honest, and I am this person too. But when someone comes to me and they kind of lead the conversation with like, hey, can I talk to you about something? Like I only have 10 total carbs a day. And I'm looking at a person and I'm thinking, I don't think that you know how much carbs are in things because
if you eat a dozen eggs a day, you're eating close to 12
because
carbs.
you're not. And so, and
not that they matter, but
I don't want somebody to make that their identity so that when they find out that there is all this carb creep, that like it crushes them. And now they're like, I don't know how to identify myself now because I was 10 carb Rachel like just 10 seconds ago. And now you're telling me I'm possibly 40 total carb Rachel. Well, the truth is that if you're leading with meat and like, coffee is the thing that, you've gotten rid of all of the other things, right? And we're down to meat and you enjoy a cup of coffee, like, or you enjoy meat and you're eating some vegetables. Like, I think that we need to not let perfect rob good here.
Right.
And who said that 10 total carbs is perfection?
Right.
Right? Like somebody that's like, hey, let me lead with my accomplishments in life and my number one on the top of it above the marriage that I'm holding together and the children that I've raised is the fact that I only eat 10 total carbs.
Like, here's the thing. Like Sabrina said,
We
so
need to reorder.
If carbs turn into sugar, does coffee turn into sugar? I'm confused. Again, you have to look at your overall diet.
Right.
Okay, so if you're eating a mostly meat diet, maybe a few vegetables like, green leafy vegetables, spinach, broccoli, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, that kind of stuff, and then having 5 cups of coffee, you're good. But if you're having 5, 6 to 8 ounce cups of coffee,
you're drinking this a day,
and you're having cream in it, and you're eating a bunch of keto treats, and when you just keep adding on the ends and you're going, but I'm only having 10 carbs a day, but you're not. Again, I have fallen in this trap. When people ask us, why does your chili have so many carbs in it? Because of the spices. Like, now, is it a huge deal? No. But if you're gonna be me and that big vat of double batch of our Keto Chow chili, which is award-winning 2 years in a row. If you're
proud.
Me and that is 2 to 3 days of food tops, even though it contains 5 pounds of meat, that has a lot of carbs in it. And if I'm having that on top of other keto-friendly foods that has carbs, that could affect me.
So I think people are like, well, I like my coffee is my treat. Okay, that's your treat. But then some people are like, my morning treat is coffee. And then I like an evening treat of some sort of a dessert. And then in the afternoon, I like a cheese and a nut treat as a snack. You see where I'm going. Pick one. Right. Pick the thing that is the most important.
And if everything is going well, don't worry about it.
You're fine. But for me, I found that I could not get away with as much nuts and cheese. And they're not nutrient dense because coffee is not nutrient dense. Cheese is not nutrient dense. Your desserts are not nutrient dense.
Let's be honest, and yes. we'll end it here because we're already late.
Oh, sorry.
By the way, Tam, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Said it's been so much fun. Thank you, guys. Be honest.
No.
When you do beef, butter, bacon, and egg.
Yeah.
Or when you decide that I'm back up to 2 pots of coffee and you cut yourself down to 1 cup a day.
Yes.
Do you have better results? If
always.
The only thing that you change is coffee.
I always.
So it's a combination of the carbs and the caffeine and everything else.
Because usually by the time that you're ready to eliminate something, like you're thinking to yourself, like, that's it. Me and cheese, we've got to divorce ourselves because cheese is the problem. It's not that cheese is the only thing going on in my day that is got carbs in it.
It's like when I cut out diet soda, I have completely different results.
Yeah. So even though it's like, well, that's no sugar, it's 0 calorie, but just like pretty much every beverage besides
Listen,
water.
That's $5 Canadian. Yeah, I know. $5 is $5. $5 Canadian, that's like $8.
Yeah. Thank you. But like, there's other things going on.
Yeah.
So I have to get real with myself sometimes. And so, yeah, when Joe cuts out like the soda, he does have a whoosh
Yeah.
of like weight loss.
Yep.
That follows it. Same thing when you've worked up too much soda, you see it come back. Why? Because all the other stuff's come with it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just, and again, I know I'm gonna get a bunch of hate emails or emails from people going, I can't watch Joe and Rachel. I talked to so and they can't watch you anymore because you told them they have to quit coffee. We are not saying stop drinking coffee.
I think
Rachel.
Cheers to your health. I think we both know.
I will say that when Rachel never has another cup of coffee again in her life.
Yeah, which will
the
be
chance of that happening.
Right.
Like we have a better chance of us having another baby.
Right. Not without a miracle.
So
I don't even want to say it would snow in Florida because
it happened this year.
I'm still
I think we got
coffee.
more snow than Utah this year.
So you know what you need to do? You know how people say that thing doesn't have a snowball's chance, and you know what? You need to start using it like that's about as likely as Rachel quitting coffee, right? Like It's gonna snow in Florida. Rachel's gonna stop drinking coffee.
Listen, we got to talk about the piglets. The piglets are gone.
The piglets were sold.
We're gonna get off. Yeah, we sold them at auction last week. We got
$25
a piece for them.
And we used that to buy feed. Tomorrow is auction day again. We sold out of the 39 chicks that we hatched out last Friday. We sold all but 11. And it was interesting. A lot of people drove from far away.
Well, I found out why. We're selling them for $3 a piece, and Tractor Supply is selling them for $6.99 in straight run.
No regrets. I'm very
so we're cheaper than Tractor Supply.
I am very proud of our chicks, and I know that they're going to make somebody like a lovely chicken. So we have 11 chicks that are going to be going to auction. They're now 7 days old, and we have 5 teenagers that we are going to be taking to auction
because
tomorrow.
The meat birds have to get out of the house.
Yes.
Because they poop more than a baby on formula.
Oh my gosh. So I've raised a lot of chicks now, and I'm going to tell you, it's like, it's like the difference between like, hey, I raised a kitten. I've raised a kitten before, and I've also raised a tiger. Obviously, a tiger is going to have much more poop than a kitten is going to. It is night and day with the meat birds. Like, it is unbelievable. Like, nothing else I've ever seen. These guys poop a week's worth of poop twice a day. Yeah. Like, it is insane.
Well, Trish said that's because you want to go to sleep at before 5 a.m. The problem is we have to be up at the auction house at 6 a.m.
If we are there really early,
our stuff goes quick.
Our stuff goes like first, and I don't want the animals to have to sit all day.
And Lady Fritzer said, I thought you might buy a replacement turkey so sad. I've been looking for one, but nobody is selling. It's mating season. So nobody wants to get rid of their hens. Yeah. Because it's mating season. You know, people are getting rid of their toms because, like, we have 2 toms that we have to keep completely separated. And when you let one of them out, or, like, all that happens is he goes over to the one who is currently locked up in a pen and destroys the pen trying to get to each other because they're fighting over who's going to get to have sex with the 2 hens. So what we're doing is every day we rotate which Tom gets to hang out with the 2 hens.
I still cannot figure out who they like best.
I don't know. I think it's the smaller of the 2.
I don't know.
I
can't tell.
But we have been looking. If one shows up at auction, we'll do that. Other than that, we're going to wait for babies. Yeah. Okay, we're going to get off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back live on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for Keto Beyond the Couch.
We love you guys.
Bye.